Coming up on UCF Nightly News, find out about the cause of recent rising gas prices in Orlando.
Next, see what's in store for graduate student housing at UCF.
And we learn about new food spots in Orlando that students will be able to eat at starting this summer.
And in sports, we'll be taking a look at a recent controversy surrounding Florida University's rebranding their DEI offices.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Sophie Diaz.
And I'm Andrew Montana. Today is Friday, April 26, 2024. If you've noticed the recent rise in gas prices as we head towards the summer months, well, you're not alone. Nightly News reporter Bryanna Howard shows us how UCF students are being affected by the rising gas prices and why it's happening in the first place.
New gas prices have been on the rise recently in Orlando, and according to AAA, it has reached a high of $3.59. Students like junior nursing major Lauren Graham now have to budget their expenses. Graham says that she takes the shuttle to campus now to save on gas.
It's really annoying because I commute from Lake Nona to main campus every day, and I drive a truck that takes premium, so gas just gets really expensive. And now I'm cutting back on doing the things that I want to do and taking the shuttle to save on gas.
Mark Jenkins, a AAA representative, says that gas prices have been on the rise due to a tightening oil market. He says that there has been a 23% increase in oil prices per barrel.
Jenkins says global matters are affecting gas prices all over the country. He says OPEC and its allies are reducing how much oil they're putting into the market, which leads to supply concerns.
Globally, oil prices have risen due to a tightening global oil market. Although the United States is producing oil at a record high again, other countries, OPEC and its allies, they've actually cut back on how much oil they're putting into the market, and that's driven up the price of oil.
Jenkins adds that gas prices are always evolving, so in the near future, students should see these prices drop. In Orlando, Bryanna Howard, UCF Nightly News.
To find out more about future gas prices, visit gasprices.aaa.com.
As the cost of living rises, finding affordable housing becomes more challenging. A new Senate resolution aims to tackle this problem for graduate students head-on. Nightly News reporter Gabrielle Giles finds out what more this means for the future of grad students.
According to UCF admissions, graduate students make up over 13% of the student population and lack on-campus housing. Walter Washika is a PhD student in communications from Kenya. He says after staying with the host family last semester, it was hard to find housing.
So when we started looking for housing, that is when it dawned on me that it is not the same rate that you would pay for a house back in your country. So I was swamped up in that. But at the same time, I also had the anxieties of, you know what, I need to get housing.
Many students like Walter don't have a place to go after enrolling at UCF. Finding housing is even harder for students who come from different countries.
Here at UCF, undergraduate students have over 7 different places to live on campus, including Lake Claire behind me. But one thing that they all have in common is that none of them house graduate students.
UCF External Legislative Assistant Laura Richmond noticed the lack of housing for postgrad students. She began working with other Senate members on Resolution 5512 to advocate for a change.
At the Dean meeting, we learned that in one of the strategic plans in the past, there actually was like a spot for graduate housing. So hoping to revisit that idea and just advocate for the advancement of this initiative.
According to Richmond, the future of the resolution now lies in the hands of the Dean of the Graduate Studies and Housing Coordinators. Then select UCF Senate members will meet to discuss a solution for the future. In Orlando, Gabrielle Giles.
To find out more about Resolution 5512 or to stay updated, contact Laura Richmond at sgaela@ucf.edu.
Students, it's time to start reducing the energy in our dorms. UCF has brought back a friendly, on-campus competition to reduce energy called Kilowatt. Nightly News reporter Jeremy Bellande tells us more on how this challenge made its way back to life.
The decade-old Kilowatt Challenge was finally brought back to the UCF campus. The last time students participated in this competition was in 2019. The purpose of the kilowatt is to see which on-campus housing community can reduce the most energy usage. Ryan Chabot is the UCF Sustainability Coordinator and explains how the competition came to be.
Really, it came about as a way to provide a gamified version of understanding the consequences of our energy use and how we can do our part to reduce unnecessary consumption of energy.
To help reduce energy usage, students are encouraged to do small things such as turning off the lights whenever they're not home or unplugging appliances whenever they're not using them. Even small things such as running water, like this water fountain right here, use energy. So students, let's be mindful and reduce energy together. To determine which buildings from each community won, student government and sustainability initiatives take a look at the data from the dorms, then compare it to the month where students are encouraged to use less energy. Resident winners from each of the communities can apply for a $500 scholarship from student government. Andrea Calderon says $500 will be useful for her.
So $500 would definitely be like a nice little safety. I do support myself here, so it would be nice to not have to worry about groceries or just any other necessities. So yeah, it'd be more of a necessity money. If I need it, she's there.
The winners of the challenge were announced on the SG Instagram on April 22nd. Student government says they want to include things such as water usage in future kilowatt challenges. In Orlando, Jeremy Bellande, UCF Knightly News.
Chabot says sustainability initiatives in SG are always looking to cater to students, so in the future, they plan to add new additions to the challenge.
As temperatures rise and more Floridians head to the beach, a familiar macroorganism covers parts of Florida's coast. I spoke with researchers for this year's Outlook on sargassum seaweed. According to the University of South Florida's Optical Oceanography Lab, in 2023, Florida beaches saw record amounts of sargassum seaweed on shorelines. Despite the bloom's growth again this year, tourist hotspots like Cocoa Beach are clear. UCF student Rex Maltby says beach visits last year meant stepping through large amounts of seaweed.
Yeah, you got to walk through probably, 5, maybe more than 5 feet sometimes, maybe 10, somewhere around there. It's usually covering a good stretch of the beach.
The coast is clear for Central Floridians so far, but the bloom's path could bring seaweed to our shores later this year. University of South Florida researcher Brian Barnes says that like other plants, the brown algae sees seasonal changes too and thrives in warmer temperatures.
You have a seasonal cycle for a plant whenever there's a growth season and then a season where it, essentially we'll say drops its leaves or something like that. But
Barnes says one factor helping to keep shores clear this year is the bloom's path.
The majority of the bloom right now is in the equatorial Atlantic, so way offshore. Much of it hasn't even gotten into the Caribbean yet. So the bloom is working its way along that path.
Florida's Department of Health says contact with the algae itself won't hurt you, but tiny sea creatures that call the bloom home can irritate your skin. So if you do encounter sargassum on your next beach trip, it's not likely to be harmful to your health. In Orlando, Sophia Diaz, UCF Nightly News. Visitors can help keep track of seaweed patterns by reporting any sightings to the Sargassum Information Hub. Hey Andrew, it's been pretty nice outside and I'm kind of looking forward to going to Cocoa Beach this weekend.
No kidding, Sophie, but you know what? I'll leave the 50-minute drive to the beach up to you. I'm going to stick to a local RWC's pool. But why don't we kick it over to our weather anchor, Abigail Smith, to see if these toasty temperatures are going to stick around.
As a matter of fact, the sunshine is here to stay. Today's forecast will be on the warmer side with temperatures climbing to a high of 83 degrees throughout the day. There's a 17% chance of rain in the air, so keep an eye out for any spotty showers. Tonight's temperatures will drop to a low of 65 with a 4% chance of rain. While the winds are expected to be relatively calm, the UV index will be peaking at 8, promising plenty of sunshine. So take advantage of the weather and make sure to hit the pool.
Coming up after the break, we'll see how inflation is increasing the cost of textbooks for students.
Plus, we'll learn about some new spots where students can eat this summer, so we'll be right back. As the summer semester approaches and inflation continues to rise, one specific area is hitting college students right in the wallet: the soaring cost of textbooks. Nightly News reporter Sara Castillo tells us more about a UCF organization that might be able to help you with this very issue.
UCF summer classes are 6 weeks long, making some students still pay for textbooks for an even shorter class term.
According to the Education Data Initiative, textbook prices are rising roughly 3 times the rate of inflation, with prices averaging $105. Wiki Nights is a student-run organization on campus dedicated to textbooks and resource affordability in higher education. President Joshua Ashby says that they're doing everything they can to battle rising costs.
This could be easily prevented, right? Obviously, we're not going to eliminate all costs, and as a fraction of rent, textbook costs are marginal. But when it comes to everything else, and in the grand scheme of things, considering that it's so unnecessary, that's what kind of radicalizes us, for lack of a better word, in order to fighting for open educational resources.
Wiki Nights put out a survey on social media platform Reddit asking UCF students how much they've spent on textbooks this semester. With nearly 200 responses, 112 users said they've spent $100 to $300+ on them.
We've all noticed prices going up in stores and have definitely felt the impact of it. Skyrocketing college textbook prices are leaving students struggling to keep up.
This organization is a top option for students to get their supplies without having to go through financial stress. Sophomore and computer science major Carson Cox says how he struggles with choosing between fun or school.
I couldn't afford to do things that I wanted to do, like if I wanted to go to Universal with one of my friends, or even make a small trip somewhere, and I'd have to choose to buy my textbook rather than spending that money on gas for travel or even just food or rent. Anything I've had to.
Students are appearing to focus more on the price tag of the course rather than the content itself. In Orlando, Sara Castillo, UCF Nightly News.
And for more information on how to take advantage of your resources and lessen overspending on materials, you can join Wiki Nights Discord on their social media.
The Rosen College of Hospitality and Management starts up a new class this summer called Culinary Cannabis. This class will be a part of the new certificate program coming to Rosen this fall, the Hospitality Health and Wellbeing Certificate. In this class, students will be learning about cannabis and the law, recipes for edibles, and much more. Jason Frederick is the professor of the new class. He says that students taking this class will understand the benefits of a medical marijuana card.
The class is an information exchange for the students on the new trend of medical marijuana and the benefits of using cannabis for therapeutic relief.
This class will be available to all undergraduate students attending UCF. For more information on the new Culinary Cannabis class or the Hospitality Health and Wellbeing Certificate, be sure to visit hospitality.ucf.edu.
Now, for you UCF students who are here during the summertime, there are some new local restaurants that are available for you to try. Crispy Cones opened off the Faraway in April and serves ice cream and fresh dough cones as seen on Shark Tank. Then Winter Park will host Jeff's Bagel Run in the springtime, where it is serving fresh bagels and flavors of spread. Finally, Agave Azul's Naya Comida en Barrita will serve authentic Mexican cuisine when it opens this spring in Maitland. Elijah Coleman is the Culinary Club at UCF president and says there are many non-culinary benefits to trying these new places during the summer.
Restaurants are bringing in people and different cultures from all over, which is great, and there's a lot of different cuisine that's being implemented to the UCF area, so everyone gets to taste a bunch of different cultures and foods, and it definitely is a great way to bring in students as well.
Coleman says that restaurants that serve cool, light, or trendy foods are likely to thrive this summer. And with all the summer snack options available, it's now up to you to figure out which one is your favorite.
When we come back, we'll check in with our weather anchor, Abigail Smith, and see what kind of weather trends we'll see this summer.
And just a bit after that, we'll look at the bigger picture and see how the weather is looking nationwide. So don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Now looking at the weather nationwide, Embry-Riddle student meteorologist Madison Croker shows us the forecast.
We are getting ready for a busy hurricane season here in Florida. We already have the ingredients for a hurricane, so it's just a matter of time now. And we are transitioning to La Nina season, so that means less wind shear, which equals more hurricane activity, and that's in the Caribbean and Atlantic Basin. And our sea surface temperatures here are already in April are already reaching the lower 80s south of Jamaica, 80s south of Miami. So that's really a key ingredient here in making hurricanes.
Okay.
The average in the past have had 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 of which were major hurricanes. But our experts at Colorado State have projected 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 of which were major hurricanes. So that means it's going to be a really hectic and busy hurricane season, and it hasn't even started yet. Hurricane season actually starts June 1st.
Andrew, after hearing about how the seaweed's gone and our beaches are clear, I'm even more excited to go.
Really? Good for you. But last time I checked, Abigail said make sure you hit the pool and not the beach.
Okay, well, before we both hit the water, let's go ahead and check back in with our weather anchor, Abigail Smith, to see if we can expect those nice temperatures to continue and sunny skies over our weekend.
Abigail, how's the weather looking over there?
You know, I sure am excited to hit the pool and the beach this summer. And thank God, because it's going to be hot and humid all summer long. You know, we've started with a bit of a cooler spring, but the National Weather Service says a combination of weather patterns and heat means that the I-95 corridor is set up for an extremely warm summer, where heat waves will be common. The outlook is much different than in 2023, when the region saw only its 35th warmest summer on record. As you can see behind me, the Central Florida area is in the 40 to 50% range for heat. But once we get lower down into South Florida, it's in the 50 to 60% range. You know, the southeast may not be in the target zone for much of the early tropical season, which is good. The 2024 hurricane season will officially begin on June 1st, but storms may form before then. The chance of rain this summer will be nothing abnormal from summers prior, but the North Florida rainfall will be slightly above average. So make sure you keep those umbrellas on hand and you keep your sunglasses ready for the beach. Well, that's all the time I have for you now, and back to the desk.
Thank you, Abigail, for the update. After the break, we'll check in with sports anchor Danielle Strong to learn more about recent news in night sports.
Plus, we'll see how the RWC is introducing a new Olympic-style tournament this summer. So don't go anywhere, because Nightly News will be right back.
Good afternoon, Knights. My name is Danielle Strong, and I'm here to give you your UCF Nightly News Sports Update. This year, the State Board of Education banned the use of state funds for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs on college campuses. As a result, the NAACP put out a statement warning student athletes to not attend a Florida PWI college. I spoke with the student athlete and faculty to learn more about the effects of eliminating DEI programs. This month, UCF renamed the DEI office to the Access and Community Engagement Department. After multiple Florida universities began rebranding their DEI offices, the NAACP sent a letter to the NCAA president urging student athletes to steer away from colleges in Florida. Jaleesa Leslie is a former UCF tennis player and touches on her positive experience with DEI in place at UCF.
Having people, in the offices that are of color makes me feel better, especially makes me feel like I'm able to talk to them about certain situations or certain problems that, I may not feel comfortable talking to, someone who's, not of color. So it's been helpful, especially like I mentioned, tennis being a predominantly white sport.
According to NCAA demographics, minorities make up about 37% of student athletes amongst all division levels. Jeffrey O'Brien is the director for the Institute for Sports and Social Justice. He explains the impacts without DEI throughout all college athletic division levels.
I think it's going to be interesting to see the type of school it is. So are you a Power 5 D1 athletic school with a lot of resources, or are you a mid-major D1 that really doesn't have many resources? And the reason I say that is the Power 5s can create community for students of color within the athletic structure. Mid-majors can't, right, because of the resources.
O'Brien believes that DEI teaches those who are not aware to be more inclusive of others from different backgrounds. UCF Nightly News reached out to the UCF Athletics, but they declined to give a statement about any changes within DEI. Many other public universities have not announced yet what the future holds for their DEI programs. The 2024 Olympics will be in Paris, France. But for students, UCF will hold their very own Olympics right here on campus. This summer, UCF's Intramural Sports League will have an 8-day Olympic-style tournament. IM leagues always offer sports like basketball, volleyball, and indoor soccer. But these Olympics are filled with less traditional sports like pickleball and ultimate frisbee. Heather Marshall is the assistant director for UCF Intramural Sports and says the summer is a great opportunity for new students.
UCF has quite a few first-year students that start in Summer B and try to get acclimated to campus, and hopefully this will be a good opportunity for them to come into the RWC, see some different things that we have going on, really check out intramural sports.
Marshall says the UCF Olympics will begin on July 18th. That's all the time I have for now. Back to you, Andrew and Sophie.
That's our time for right now. Thanks again for joining us.
And if you've got a story idea you would like us to know about, send it our way. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.